This is my example of the Who is Jesus in Art project. The story I've chosen is from the Gospel of Matthew, whereas you will be choosing a story from the Gospel of Mark. Here's the Bible passage. When they had departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, Rise, take the child and his mother, flee to Egypt, and stay there until I tell you. Herod is going to search for the child to destroy him. Joseph rose and took the child and his mother by night and departed for Egypt. So basically, Joseph and Mary with baby Jesus have to leave their home and go away somewhere else because an evil and oppressive ruler is going to try to kill Jesus. So their son is in danger of his life and they have to leave their home. I have two pieces of art to show you. This one is a stained glass window from my church, St. Joseph Church in downtown Hammond, Indiana. The windows were created by German artists in 1919, so over 100 years ago. They're exquisitely detailed. The artists layered paint onto the glass in order to create the details. So the whole figure of Joseph, who kind of takes up the right side of the composition, is just so beautiful. Even his feet. So in the foreground, we see his foot kind of pointing towards us as he's walking along the path. You can see how detailed and beautifully shaded they are. And he's wearing a red cloak, and he's carrying some kind of maybe water bottle at his belt, or perhaps a container for other belongings, and a walking staff. And Mary is pictured as riding on a donkey. There's no donkey in the story, but it's kind of a tradition that has grown up around this story that a donkey was somehow part of the Holy Family's journey. She and baby Jesus look very peaceful as he rests on her lap, and this figure of an angel kind of luminously hovering over them. I believe the angel is holding a palm branch, which might signify that Jesus is the king to be, and its wings it's kind of blurry because the sunlight shining through the window blurred out some of the features, but the feathers in the angel's wings are just beautifully detailed. And then behind them, each of these compositions has a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And the backgrounds always have some sort of natural scene. We see a rather fiery sky that's, get out of there. We see a fiery sky that's pink and blue and purple over the mountains, and a city in the background. If the Holy Family was walking from Israel, Palestine towards Egypt, they would have been going roughly southwest. So the sky behind them would have been sort of towards the east, and so this is the dawn. And there's an old saying my grandmother used to say, pink in the morning, sailor take warning. So a pink sky is actually a threatening sky if you're seeing it in the morning, if it's toward the east. So the weather here is kind of threatening, as though some danger were imminent. And then in the middle background we see these 3 Corinthian-style columns, which look very Roman, and in fact they strongly resemble these 3 columns remaining from the temple of Vespasian in the Roman Forum. It seems likely that the artist of the window actually had these columns in mind. So perhaps this monument in our stained glass window is a reminder that Jesus and Mary and Joseph lived under the shadow of the dominion of the Roman Empire. My second artwork for this story is a recent painting by Kelly Lattimore, which is featured on the cover of a book by Pope Francis. It shows the Holy Family, all 3 of them are walking, dressed in clothes that are more like the clothes we wear today: gym shoes and sandals, jeans, t-shirts, a scarf to hold baby Jesus. Joseph has his arm protectively around Mary, and he's looking forward. He's wearing a backpack, and Mary is carrying 2 bags. All 3 of them have the halos around their heads that show their holiness. And in the background we see the night sky and some mountains. The 2 paintings are similar in that they show the Holy Family together and traveling. In both images, Joseph is seen as in charge of the journey. He's protecting Mary and Jesus, and he's kind of looking to the left as if he's watching out for threats, things that might threaten the family. Some of the differences are that in this one, the Holy Family is portrayed wearing today's clothing, and they're portrayed clearly as poor. They're not wealthy people. Clearly, they're running away from some danger. In this painting, Mary and Jesus do not look peaceful. Jesus is not sleeping. He's alert, and he's looking forward. Mary's face also looks fearful. Another important contrast between the two compositions is how they show the ethnicity of the figures. In the stained glass, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, portrayed by German artists 100 years ago, are shown as Caucasian, whereas in Kelly Lattimore's painting, they are shown as being Latino, probably migrants from Central America, fleeing from oppression, or poverty, or climate disasters. I like to tell my students when I'm showing them the stained glass windows that although we don't know exactly what Joseph and Mary and Jesus looked like, they were from the ancient Mediterranean world, so they were probably dark-skinned, dark-eyed, and dark-haired. The way we portray God and the saints and holy people and Jesus in art really matters because it can shape people's perceptions of God and people's perceptions of what is holy and people's perceptions of each other. So I think it's very, very important to have diversity in how we portray Jesus, because if people only see images of the Holy Family as Caucasian, it can lead to attitudes of prejudice and racism. This contemporary painting also teaches us to see Jesus and the Holy Family in migrants, people who are forced to leave their homes because of difficult circumstances. And our faith teaches us to welcome migrants. Jesus himself teaches in Matthew 25 that we should welcome the stranger, and that is Pope Francis's teaching in this book. And this beautiful painting reminds us of that very important teaching in our Christian faith. So you're going to do a project like this. Find 2 artworks that portray some scene or story from the Gospel of Mark in 2 different ways. Compare and contrast the artworks. Talk about what's good about each artwork, but also maybe critique each artwork and explain how it could be better and how maybe each artwork sort of supplies the deficiencies of the other. And you can do this in a video, as I've done, or you can do it in an essay, a written essay. Just include pictures of the artworks with your essay as well, and hopefully we can present some of these to each other.